time to get things going. I want to invite you in, welcome you into the program. 205 342 9904 205 342 9904. The Taco Casa hotline. It's open for business. Give us a call this morning and jump in on this wild card Wednesday as we let you. You can do it any day, but specifically, we're asking you to set the agenda for the program today. So give us a call. Let us know what you're thinking about, what your topics are. I already got a couple things on the agenda. So go ahead and post your comments at Martin Houston 35 or Martin Houston Live or my personal page at Martin Houston. And we'll get those added to the program. If we can't get to them today, we'll just kick them down the road and bring them in as a part of the program as we move throughout. We're able to do this each and every week because of the great folks over at Taco Casa. Taco Casa, quality, taste, value under the biggest cactus in town. 6 locations in Tuscaloosa, Northport, West Alabama, to better serve you, asking you to go ahead and make that choice to have them for lunch and or dinner today. That's Taco Casa, quality, taste, and value. Good morning, Joe. How you doing, sir?
Oh, not bad today, Martin. Enjoying a happy hump day, ready to get on the other side of the week.
All right, awesome. Well, as I said, this is Wild Card Wednesday. We got a couple topics that we've gotten from listeners. I think there's some conspiracy theorists getting wound up out there, Joe. So we'll bring them into the conversation here in a moment. But before we do, we didn't talk about it yesterday, but you see the rings that these guys got.
They're beautiful.
It's kind of crazy to think, and every generation does this, Joe. Like when we got our rings, I remember the old hands going, God, those are so much nicer than what we got, and so every subsequent generation makes that type of statement and comment. This Of course, this generation, they've only gotten 6, so they have to keep making a difference. They're having to design them, every other year. But when we graduated, you know how many rings we got for winning the first ever SEC championship, the Sugar Bowl, and the national championship?
Probably just one is my guess.
Yeah, we didn't even get a separate SEC championship ring. We didn't get a Sugar Bowl ring. We didn't get an SEC championship ring. We got a single national championship ring, and they get a ring for winning the bowl game. They get a ring for winning the championship, and a ring for winning the Natty. So, and I don't begrudge them. I'm just showing you, as much as we do dog the NCAA, at least they're improving in some ways and getting better in terms of allowing for the players to get a little bit more reward. Some amazing designs, and of course, one of them you have to think about just how impressive what they did in championship style play, Joe. The ring has 135 stones, if I'm not mistaken, and that represents the actual number of points scored in 3 games. Just think about that for a second. When the 130, I think it's 135, 130. I can't 135. I think. Go ahead.
It was 135.
135 in 3 games, and that was 3 championship level games. I mean, you're not talking about 3 games as the regular part of the season goes, but 3 games that was down the stretch, championship win or go home type of scenario, and our offense produced 135 points in three games. So kudos to those guys. I just want to recognize them and then of course, as I said, point out the fact that it is very interesting. And the NCAA looks like they're going to continue to move forward. I think they're making decisions now that are save our organization type of moves in terms of making sure things continue to um, that they continue to have at least some type of functioning role. Because I think had they continued that hard line, Joe, and not kind of got on board, that we may be looking at the NCAA becoming irrelevant when it comes to football in terms of their role and impact. But they seem to be getting on board, allowing the players to have a little bit more fun, and 3 championship rings. Kudos to Nick Saban and the Alabama Crimson Tide once again for winning. I think he'll. Let me say this carefully. I think he would cherish this national championship uh, as much or more than any of his prior ones, just because of what they had to go through, and the differences and the changes, and how he was able to morph and change his process and yet still stay true to who he was and get a championship. So with that said, it's a wild card Wednesday. We got a couple of comments. As I told you, there's some conspiracy theorists out there, Joe. We've heard it mentioned here on the show a couple times, uh, in terms of, did Nick Saban uh, did Nick Saban hold out players intentionally on the defensive side of the ball so that the offense could have a good showing in terms of the 8A game? Virgil Williams saying, uh, as far as the topic, was the exclusion of so many players from 8A actually from injury/illness, or more for Saban to limit the actual defensive domination? Seem to be an awful lot of players out, which would actually lead into the topics that both Curtis Moore and C.J. Watson had listed as potential points of discussion. All right, are you on the bandwagon conspiracy theorist, or not, Joe? With the Nick Saban may have held out some players in terms of the game so that the offense would have at least some success because the defense was so dominant this spring.
No, I think I'm not on board with that conspiracy. I think that Coach Saban and kind of the frustration that he expressed in his press conference, the press conference prior to A-Day, when he was asked about injuries, and he said, "Oh, I'm not getting into that. I'm not going to tell you guys about that." I think he was really trying to mask some frustration that Alabama had to end up finally, well, not finally, but it had to end up finally facing some COVID-19 issues at a deeper level than just 1 or 2 players here and there. I think that they had some guys have to be held out for contact tracing. I think that frustrated Coach Saban.
Yeah, so you're believing that we had a, for the first time, uh, we had kind of a, I guess, outbreak, not necessarily guys with COVID as much as it was about there being a spread in the locker room, a potential spread, and for the first time, Nick Saban got caught up with the contact tracing. So, and I when he said, "I'm not going to talk about it," and he did not use the term injured, he used medical reason. Some of the wording makes you lean toward COVID potentially got the Alabama Crimson Tide. But let's just say for a second, Joe, if the conspiracy theorists are correct, what would that mean for the Alabama Crimson Tide defense? Let's just say for a second that, of course, because it's I used to do what's called What If Wednesday. Okay, we can incorporate that at this moment. What if the conspiracy theorists are correct? What would you take away from that? Or would it make you, as a Bama fan, feel even more excited, and also get us into that next question about the upcoming Bama defense. Is this Bama defense improved enough to cover the potential, keyword there, potential drop off from last year's record setting offense by losing so much talent and coaching, at least until this offense unit gels and finds its leaders and chemistry? So we're gonna go to break here, and I'm gonna leave you with a hanging chad that, let's just say, what if the conspiracy theory is right? What if Nick Saban, which, by the way, I'm gonna go ahead and say it on this side of the break, I do not believe that that's the case. I do not believe that Nick Saban intentionally held players out just because. Now, is it possible that Nick Saban may have taken players who traditionally may have been able to play? Is there a couple guys with injuries that could have played had this been game week during the season? Absolutely. Do I think he may have held a couple of those guys out? Yes. But do I think it was just because of the defense's dominant? I'm not going there. But on the other side, we're going to say, just what if that is true? What if that is true? What does it mean about this defense? And does it make us feel better going into the season about the defense that we have? We'll have that conversation on the other side of the break. You can be a part of it, 205-342-9904, 205-342-9904. Tom is on hold. Hold on to the other side of the break, and we'll get you in on the conversation, sir.
Job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates from our resume database. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get a $75 credit for your first sponsored job post. Terms and conditions apply.
All right, we've got lucky caller number 4, Marcus, on the line. If he answers this question, he wins a new car.
Let's do this.
Okay, for a new car, name the only actor to appear in...
And now a message from our sponsor.
With 24/7 support and quick and easy claims, Progressive protects what matters most. Progressive.
Films all in the same year.
Wait, sorry, I didn't hear the
3
question.
seconds, Marcus.
Yeah, no, but there was an ad in the middle.
You didn't answer.
But I didn't hear anything.
Oh, Marcus, you dropped it in the dirt.
Progressive. There's never a bad time for great protection. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Let me get right back to you. Sandra, those banners go out tonight. Can you pack them? Indeed, knows unexpected growth can stretch your business thin.
On machine 4.
Like at Monica's Print Shop. To fulfill orders on time, she needs to get started hiring right away. I need Indeed. Indeed you do. And the moment you sponsor a job on Indeed, you get a short list of quality candidates from our resume database. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get a $75 credit for your first sponsored job post. Terms and conditions apply.
Tide 100.9 Tuscaloosa weather.
Windy and noticeably cooler today with a sunny sky, the high at 60. For tonight, clear and cold with the low at 39. Tomorrow, sunny with a high at 65. And we stay dry Friday, the sky partially sunny. Friday's high at 68 degrees. I'm James Spann of the ABC 3340 Weather Center on Tide 100.9. It's 46 degrees in Tuscaloosa.
Scott Smith and Softmark Design, doing business for 17 plus years, specializing in graphic design services
graphics, commercial printing, promotional products, advertising specialties, and so much more. Basically, any and everything you would need to advertise, promote, and grow your business. Through strong partnerships, strong customer service, and creative ideas, they'll help you market and grow your business. Give Scott a call at 205-292-4680 or email scottis@comcast.net and visit them online at southmarkdesign.com.
Interact with the Martin Houston Show by calling us at 205-342-9904 or tuning into the Martin Houston Show on Facebook.
All right, Martin, you're hot. 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back into the Martin Houston Show. Remember our great sponsors over at Overflow Express Wash. OverflowExpressWash.com is where you can find them online. They have an existing location at 90 Skyland Boulevard East, and then 3205 Hunter Creek Road is where they will begin serving you in terms of their new location. Both locations promise to provide customers with a showroom clean car along with an exceptional customer service experience. That is Overflow Express Wash. Andy Phillips and his team have done a great job of providing you with a great way to keep your car showroom clean inside and out. That's where my family and I keep our cars clean. That's overflowexpresswash.com. All right. I love his Wild Card Wednesday, What If Wednesday, all bundled up in one. Let me see some of the responses we've got real quick, and then we'll get to our callers. Coach Saban, Craig Wooden says, Coach Saban does not give I can't use that word, about the defense being dominant over the offense. He is going to play all the players available. Like I said, I agree. I don't think he held anybody out just because, but I do know that in a spring game, there are players who could play in the fall who don't necessarily play in a spring game because they don't have anything to prove. So that could have happened. Some could have. I'm not saying it did. Could have. And Craig Wooden said, I don't feel better when we're not competing at the highest level by holding players out that can play. And Curtis Lewis says, let's see what he's saying here. That conspiracy theory doesn't hold water because the defense has Golding. Why was it Golding running the Crimson team like tradition? So anyway, that's just a question, Joe. What if there's a situation with Nick Saban doing that? Let's just say he did it. Would that make you feel better about our defense knowing that Nick Saban felt that good about it? Let's bring in Tom. Tom, you're in with the Martin Houston Show. What's on your mind, sir?
Martin, good morning.
Good morning, sir.
I called in yesterday when DC was on,
yes,
and I brought up the fact that 20 players were held out, and because I really believe that things have changed under Coach Saban, and I believe his approach is different than it's been in the past, and I think the development, those kids that were out there Saturday in A-Day, I think they were really trying to get a look at who could do what in the game situations. They've had 2 scrimmages prior. They know what everybody can do. And I really believe there's something going on in the evolution of how he approaches coaching. And we've been singing his praises for the last 5 years of evolving on offense. And he's been on all season this year. Defense is different. Don't expect this. I don't believe he's conceded in his mind on defense. But at the same time, I believe his approach and everything has gone through an evolution, and how he gets the team prepared for the next season. Surely, some of that people can see that that's going on, and what he put out on the field Saturday had specific reasons. He did that for a reason. There was something they were looking for. And I wanted to point this out, and I chickened out yesterday because he nailed me so hard. But I noticed in the game Saturday, there was a set on defense, had 2 down linemen and 9 standing up. Did you see that?
I didn't notice it when it happened, but that's interesting.
What's going on? The conspiracy is not from us; it's from the other side.
Hey, let me say this, Tom. I'll give you some credence in the fact that we as fans looked at that like that was a game, right?
Right.
Did Nick Saban look at it like it was a game, or did Nick Saban look at it like another scrimmage? Coach Stallings used to always say this, and I'm just feeding the conspiracy theory with this statement. Coach Stallings used to always say he had one major goal in spring practice, and that was to find his top 22, his ones and his twos. Okay? So at times, twos got more money or more opportunity than the ones if the ones were clearly established. Not that he was necessarily, excuse me, excuse me. Wow. Not that he was holding out. Joe, can you take over?
Yeah, Tom, hop on in, brother.
Yeah, I'm. The thing about it is, I think something changed. With,
I hit the wrong button, Tom. Go ahead. I couldn't hear you.
I think something has changed with Coach Saban over the years. I think you're seeing a total new process in terms of what he's doing to prepare a team to get ready. I think Martin's on to something there with Coach Stallings. OTA in the spring, see who all can do what.
Yeah.
And then make a decision from there. It was a lot of talent on that field. I don't care if it was second, third, whatever. There was a lot of talent on that field. And
back.
I just think something's changed with how he prepares the team.
So it is possible, Tom.
Upcoming.
Yeah, Tom, and I will say it is possible that Nick Saban.
Right on a minute ago when you were talking about how he views it more as a practice and more of a scrimmage, and we're kind of more in the camp that it might be more of a game. But with Coach Saban, it doesn't. He doesn't care what.
Yeah, that's it, Joe, right there. If you knew what Coach Saban was thinking, then probably everything that went on with the entire spring would make sense to you. But something's different. I don't care what anybody says. Something's different with the way they go about.
Well, do you think it has to do with bringing in Dr. Ray and David Ballou? This is really their first full.
Well, I think that's part. I think it's many parts to it. The process has many parts to it. I think we're seeing. I'm going to use the word again, an evolution of the process, and but the main thing is, everybody's made this point that there's a lot of talent out there on the field, and nobody can deny that.
Yeah.
You can't deny that. And I think one thing is, hey, we got so much talent, we don't want to overlook somebody that can help them.
I think that Coach Saban and his staff will definitely make sure that we're not overlooking anybody. Sure, you're right about that. At the linebacker position, at the running back position, at the wide receiver position, they're dripping with talent all over the field.
Yeah,
and he snuck that 2 down lineman. They snuck that in there just to see how it was going. I think to give Bryce something to think about, and also get a look on film. 2 down linemen and 9 standing up. They
probably put that out there on tape for Lane Kiffin.
Yes, they did. Hey,
man! I bet if they think it'll work, they'll use it.
All right. Hey, let me. Thanks, guys, for covering for me right there. Don't know what happened there, but it happens, and it usually happens when you're live.
Water.
I got some water. I had something to drink. It just took me a little while to get to it. Hey, Thanks,
Don't
Tom.
scare us like that.
All right. Thanks, Tom. Appreciate it. Hey, let's get to Pat. Pat, you're with the Martin Houston Show. What's on your mind, sir?
Good morning. Hey, did you see where your granny got us even with the surf shops in California?
Got what?
Did you see where your granny got us even with the surf shops in California?
What does that mean?
You talk about our surfer boys all the time, and hey, name, image, and likeness. The surf shops in California now, and Granny Ivy has us all on the same level playing field. She signed the bill yesterday.
You talking about the name, image, and likeness in Alabama?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get into that topic yet because I need to read it a little bit because I think that has, Pat. I think that there's some concerns that I have there. I'm for it, much like I was for transfer, but I think that they need to just be careful how they do it. And just because the state does it, does the state overrule the NCAA? And if they don't, then if a player from Alabama goes out and gets something name, image, and likeness because the state says it's okay, that doesn't mean that they won't disqualify Alabama from playing in a college football playoff because the college football playoffs is a private business.
Okay.
Huh?
I got you, because there's only like 14 total states so far that have signed the bill.
Well, see, the only way is that's what I'm saying is, will those players in those states, will this just force the NCAA to change the rules? Because the NCAA will be in a position where they can't play players. I mean, they don't have enough teams that wouldn't be violating their name, image, and likeness rule themselves. I think they're trying to push for a federal law so that there's just one law versus the state, but the NCAA is they better get on board. But I also, like I said, I don't know enough about the specifics of the rules to know whether or not the state name, image, and likeness will override the the state or not. I mean the NCAA or not.
The NCAA. Yeah, I got you. That's what I just wanted to bring up. And she had signed that bill yesterday.
Yes, sir.
From what I understand, Georgia has one ready to go. That'll take all of them are going to take effect in July.
Yeah, Florida already passed it, but theirs doesn't take effect for a little while. Several other states have passed them, but they're not all in effect yet. So
I got you. Hey, another thing I wanted to bring up that talking about that 20 being held out. Well, very, very possibility that COVID was the big issue because yesterday the stock market fell almost a full percentage point due to the fact of increased COVID cases.
Oh, so you think that's why the stock market fell?
Oh, that 20 they held out. Hey, but nationwide, not only nationwide, worldwide, increased COVID cases, and they got the stock.
But the stock market went up during COVID, so why would it go down because of one spike?
It went down because there's way more spike than what people think.
Okay. All right. Investment. Hey, let's go. Thanks, Pat. Let's go ahead and get to George. We're getting that investment advice from Pat. Watch the spike on COVID and a subsequent decrease on the stock market there. George from Macon, you're in with the Martin Houston Show. What's on your mind, sir?
Yeah, my take on that is I really think that we're wanting to develop more players, specifically on defense.
Okay.
Notice what Coach Saban said last year. We can't get off the field on third down. And I think that maybe he's thinking that's because the players have a little bit of fatigue, and the better depth you have, the pressure your players can be on third down, and as the play the game goes on. Also, what would be said if one of those players that were held out, and we all know what they can already do, but what would be said if one of those players got hurt, a knee injury, and that sort of thing, and everybody would be saying, why is Saban playing him? Because because you already know what he can do. Those are my thoughts.
So hold on, George. Let me clarify and make sure you're buying in partially into Virgil Williams. There may have been some conspiracy around Nick Saban. You know, there may have been some COVID issues, but you think he may have also used. Was he a little more lenient on the contact tracing with COVID? Was it potentially an issue with the injuries? He was a little more stringent. Do you think that's what possibly got so many players out? Because you seem to be thinking that Nick Saban could have played a few more players if he had wanted to.
No, what I'm saying is that we need to develop depth, and it's not contact tracing, it's contact injury. He's trying to save those guys from starting, what B-Rob can do. So what if he played him a couple of sets of downs and he tore his knee up? Then everybody would be saying, why are you playing him? You know what he can do. You should have held him out. That's the point that I'm making, is that we got to develop more depth and, to help our defense out as the game rolls on.
I'm okay. You guys are making an argument. You guys are making an argument.
Part two, all these mock drafts. And if you notice that the Alabama players are dropping in the selections, and I'm wondering if that's because of just Alabama fatigue.
No, it's probably the other way. Sometimes these drafts, people start enough rumors and stuff to get the guys to drop on purpose. I mean, if you're sitting at number 12 and need a wide receiver, wouldn't you get rumors started about Devontae Smith and Jalen Waddle because of them having things that you can bring legit questions to the table about? You can bring questions about his finger. You can bring questions about his weight. You can bring questions about Waddle's injury and him not being 100%, which all legit concerns, but you can make them bigger stories. And so don't ever underestimate that sometimes the Alabama guys fall not because of fatigue, but because teams in the draft actually want them to fall so that they can get a Alabama football player later on in the draft without having to move up.
One more question, Martin.
Go ahead.
I am so, Mac Jones, everybody's comparing him to Justin Fields and a couple of the other quarterbacks. And it's always been my thought that the most important skill set as a quarterback is your preparation and your processing. And that is something that Mac Jones does fantastic. He's able to process pre-snap and during the play what needs to be done better than anybody I've seen in a long time. Okay. Now, another thing that he is, he's very, very accurate. And everybody says he's got great players to throw to. Well, last time I saw Clemson, Ohio State, Georgia, and Oklahoma have very good players to throw to. And one reason that those players have the yardage is he puts the ball where it needs to be. But now, I think, don't get me wrong, he is not as athletic as Justin Fields is, or probably not quite as athletic as Joe Burrow was as far as running, but you really don't know because he's always looking downfield to get the ball to the person who is even more athletic than anybody, that being Waddle, Devontae.
Hey, George, who won the Super Bowl this year?
I agree with you 100%. Somebody who can process, do pre-snap preparation, and get the ball to the right person.
And there's one other thing that Mac Jones that we have not talked about, that he showed it when he committed, he showed it when he stuck it out, and he showed it on the field. And Tom Brady has the same thing, and that is a competitive nature that will not stop. This kid modeled himself after Tim Tebow. And I know we may not like Tim Tebow as a quarterback and an NFL quarterback, but there is not a single college player that you would pick as more competitive than Tim Tebow. And that's who Mac Jones modeled his competitive spirit after, along with his family, parents being tennis players and competing against his sister and all that. So Mac Jones has everything except for this dual threat. But there's some teams out there that may say, hey, you know what? Tom Brady has shown that you can still win if you have the right guy with that skill set. So I think Mac Jones, he's figured out how to be the best version of Mac Jones he can be, and figured out of the 32 teams, all he has to do is get one of them to fall in love with him, and he'll go number 3 overall, and that's what he's done. Thanks, George. Appreciate you, sir.
Okay, see ya. Thank you for the
Thank
call.
you. Coming back on the other side, we'll wrap up the conversation around the conspiracy theory. We have a couple other topics. We're probably not going to get to those today, so we'll kick them down the road to tomorrow and Friday regarding the Alabama offense and whether or not Nick Saban was maybe even helping this defense, excuse me, in terms of everything that we have. We'll come back with just a quick wrap up on the other side to wrap up the conspiracy theories conversation. Then we'll get to Scotty Hollins of Blueprint Ministries, presented by Johnson & Marshall Dentistry, to wrap things up in the fourth quarter.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, traffic moving pretty well. Now, we do have some congestion on McFarland eastbound at Lurleen, and Lurleen southbound steady to Northport. Everything else looks good. If you do see conditions, give us a call, 205-886-8886. Grab a boatload of savings at Townsend Nissan, where your trade is worth more than ever. I'm Captain Ray.
Hello, this is Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show, and I want to tell you about one of our great sponsors, Overflow Express Wash. Their mission is to provide great customer service with a showroom clean car and an exceptional customer service experience. They have the basic car wash that starts at $7, but you need to check out the premium wash packages, which start as low as $12 and go up to $20. They also have a membership wash club that you can get for starting at $23.99, going up to $39.99. In other words, just double the regular premium package, drop a penny, and you can be one of the great members of Overflow Express Wash. My family and I keep our cars looking good inside and out by using Overflow Express Wash. They're located on Skyland Boulevard, right next door to Alabama 1, or you can find them online at overflowexpresswash.com. Andy Phillips and his team look forward to making you a part of their team.
You know what happens in a plasma chamber?
Big stuff. Science stuff.
Diamonds. I'm Tom Osmond. Fincher & Osmond Jewelers carries artisan-created diamonds.
Earth and human safe.
And bigger. Lots bigger.
Fincher & Osmond diamonds from the mines or artisan-created diamonds.
They're all diamonds.
If you want to give her the big stuff, you've got to see these diamonds.
FincherandOsmond.com. A little tricky to find on McFarland Boulevard between Edgar's and Local Roots.
Tuscaloosa Tire and Service. They've got the big brands you know and trust. Goodyear, Firestone, Bridgestone, Cooper, and they can finance for you as well. When you need routine maintenance and alignment, a tune-up, whatever it is, belts, hoses, just basic stuff, or when you don't know what's wrong with your car, truck, or SUV, make it Tuscaloosa Tire and Service. They're dependable, they're trustworthy. That's why they've lasted for over 36 years. Skyland Boulevard, McFarland Boulevard East in Northport on Lurleen Wallace Boulevard. Check out the website, TuscaloosaTireandService.com.
How'd you like to eliminate your expensive cable bill forever or get new satellite internet where cable can't go? Well, now you can have affordable satellite internet service for a few dollars a day. All you need is a mini satellite installed, and you can have unlimited internet connections wirelessly in your home or office. And no cable boxes means unlimited connections and no clutter. You can surf the internet or stream any of your favorite television services with no cable. And the best part is, satellite internet service costs only a few dollars a day for your entire home. Yes, fast internet to surf or stream television for a few bucks a day. Call now for free details and learn how to drop your expensive cable bill.
800-712-8044. 800-712-8044. 800-712-8044. That's 800-712-8044.
Welcome back to the Martin Houston Show, the sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team, on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
All right, Marty, you're hot right now.
Welcome back in as we're going to break there. We were just talking about the conspiracy theory. Virgil Williams sent a wild card Wednesday topic. Did Nick Saban hold players out intentionally? Or was it truly illness or not? We've had some people kind of go down that path, and I probably fed them a little bit of information that may make them question whether or not Nick Saban actually did that or not. We look at that as an A-day game. I mean, as a game. It says A-day game. But in Nick Saban's scheme of things, was that just the 15th practice, nothing more, nothing less, and we just got to watch it, and it was on television? And I can promise you there are times where coaches are looking for certain things that they may put a number 2 guy in to get that number 2 guy more reps. And also they do things to build confidence. Not Nick Saban, but Coach Gene Stallings used to always say, I want to come out of spring with a clear 1 and 2, if at all possible. Did Nick Saban do that or not? I'm not sure that he did, but I will say that it's possible, Joe, that he was a little lenient on the contact tracing, where there are some guys that were out due to COVID contact tracing, and we're making an assumption unless you have verified, Joe. We're making the assumption that it was COVID and contact tracing when he said illness or medical reasons. It could be, couldn't be. But was he more lenient in terms of guys who were contact traced? Because I know during the fall, all coaches fought a little bit against the contact tracing and were a little more stringent than they probably would be at this point. Did Nick Saban lack that? Also, were there guys who had some dings and bruises and nicked up that he decided to hold out as well? With that said, does that equate to the fact that he did that for the offense? And that's the question, Joe. Even if he did everything I just said, the other part of the conspiracy is that he did that so that the offense would have some success. Does that make your team better or worse? I understand doing it for the sake of getting some additional players, some reps, some number 2s, some work with the 1s, some 3s, some work with the 2s. But to do it to make the offense look better, what are your thoughts?
No, I don't think he cares how the offense looks to the fans or not.
Now, I will say this. Nick Saban, we did hear one thing, though. You didn't hear the game. I mean, you didn't see the game. Nick Saban does favor the defense, though, Joe. You know that, right?
Of course.
Yeah, right. So that's why I say I doubt he would do it to make the offense look good, because he already favors the defense. Devontae Smith said during the game there was a pass interference call where Nick Saban didn't want the officials to call it and actually prevented them from calling it during the game. And then they asked Herb Street and Galloway asked him about asked Devontae, and Devontae said, "Oh, he does it all the time at practice, where the defense gets away with pass interference." And they asked Nick Saban about it, and Coach Saban said, "Well, it's not that I tell them not to call it. I just chew their butts when they do." In other words, hey, I don't tell them not to, but I definitely use my influence to impact how they call it. And that, you can look at that two ways. Is that good or bad for the offense or for the defense? Teaches our wide receivers to play through contact, but it also could create a bad habit in terms of the defensive back. So Either way, conspiracy theory or not, we're not going to solve it on the Martin Houston Show on a Wild Card Wednesday. What we will do is continue the conversation on tomorrow that led into. And the question that CJ Watson had, is Bama defense improved enough to cover the potential drop-off from last year's record-setting offense, which lost so much talent and coaching? 4 out of 5 coaches gone, at least until the offensive unit gets jails and finds its chemistry and its leaders. So that conversation, and then another topic that we'll kick down, probably we may get to tomorrow, but may move it to Friday as well, is from Curtis Moore II. With us losing so much on the offensive side of the ball, what teams on our 2021 schedule presents a problem? We'll have those topics coming up in the next day or so. But until then, we're going to get out of here. Thank you so much for being a part of Wild Card Wednesday. You're always welcome to bring topics any day of the week. Tweet them at Martin Houston 35 or post them on my Facebook Live, or you can call the show and bring it up right live at 205-342-9904. On the other side, we'll have the Johnson & Marshall Dentistry Christian Moment of the Week with Scotty Hollins up next.
Tide 100.9 traffic.
From the Townsend Nissan Traffic Center, traffic picking up with some congestion on 43 southbound at Flatwoods, 69 southbound at Union Chapel, 69 northbound at Bear Creek, and Scotland northbound at McFarland. If you see other conditions, give us a call. Grab a boatload of savings at Townsend Nissan, where your trade is worth more than ever. I'm Captain Ray.
Here's what's trending on the Tuscaloosa thread. Good morning. The conviction of former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin for the murder of George Floyd is prompting reaction everywhere. Retired Tuscaloosa County Circuit Court Judge John England, who was the first black to hold that position, told news partner WVOA 23 the outcome proves something, that the judicial system works. Chauvin will be sentenced in 8 weeks. Striking miners at Warrior Met Coal and Brookwood will hold their first unity rally. It'll be at Tannehill Park tonight at 6 o'clock. I'm Doug Hartwick.
Hello, this is Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show, and I want to tell you about Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing. If you're looking for a way to add value to your home, make your flower beds pop, make your landscaping stand out from your neighbors, then Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing can help you do just that. They have numerous styles, but they feature the Moroccan Stone Curb series, which includes 4 great styles and unlimited color choices. That's Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing. They are the one that can help you stand out from your neighbors. Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing, 205-331-6823. You may also find yourself with the need for a custom size stone or custom shaped stone. Then Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing can help with that as well. Paul Fuller and his team are waiting on your call right now for that free quote. And if you tell them that Martin Houston with the Martin Houston Show told you to stop by, you'll get a big discount. So call Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing at 205-331-6823 or visit them online at Tuscaloosa Custom Curbing, LLC.
Brought to you by JCPenney. Shop cool styles at hot low prices during Power Penny Days. Get huge deals on spring looks and fresh home essentials in-store and jcp.com.
Do you feel vibrations when you step on your brake pedal? Is it taking you too long to come to a complete stop? Well, then it just might be time to replace your brakes. Don't wait for brake failure to cause an accident. Replace your brakes with high-quality brakes from Northport Auto Supply. Northport Auto Supply has the area's largest inventory of brakes in stock and will help you find the brakes that are best for your car. Northport Auto Supply. Why go anywhere else?
Join the game's Ryan Fowler this Thursday when he does his show live on location from 2 until 6 p.m. at the grand opening of R&R Cigars Northport location next to Winn-Dixie on McFarland Boulevard. Stop by for the ribbon cutting. Register to win a Traeger grill. All boxes are 20% off all week. Be sure and join the game's Ryan Fowler when he does his show live at the grand opening of the Northport location of R&R Cigars this Thursday from 2 till 6, located next to Winn-Dixie on McFarland Boulevard in Northport.
Run with us on a John Deere Z365R Z-Track mower, built for taking it easy. With the Easy Change 30-second oil change system and standard mulch control to control your clippings without any extra effort. Because lawns aren't just for mowing, they're for living. Nothing runs like a Deere. Get a new Z300 Series zero-turn mower with 0% APR for 24 months at your John Deere dealer today. For additional cost information, please call toll-free 1-800-226-8903.
The sound of Bama sports. Your show, your team. The Martin Houston Show on your home for Alabama sports. Tide 100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9 app.
All right,
It's now time for our weekly catch-up with Scotty Hollins, Executive Director of Blueprint Ministries, presented by Johnson & Marshall Dentistry. Scotty's going to be at Harvest Church for the Stand Student Conference this Saturday for grades 5 through 12. Registration starts at 12. You're welcome to come. Harvest Church located out on Highway 82, out past Walmart and the airport, just before you get to the Coca Mall, the Dollar General on the left, going toward Gordo. So excited Scott is going to be a part of that. And here's some of the great teaching the students are going to get an opportunity to have as he encourages us on the Martin Hughes Show how to incorporate our faith into the boardroom, the classroom, our chosen field of play. Good morning, Scotty. How you doing, sir?
Hey, Martin, I am doing fantastic. How are you?
Doing well, man. Just continue the process of what you've been doing to encourage us to finish strong.
Absolutely. Well, we'll just do a quick review, very quick, looking at Hebrews 12:1 and looking at the message from the author of Hebrews to a group of believers who were struggling. Martin, they were just beginning to go through the motions. We talk about as believers, you know, when we give our lives to Christ, we surrender the throne of our life and we live life off the throne. They were struggling with the living life off the throne. They were going weary in living life off the throne. And so he gives them an encouragement. And so now we have finally got to verse 2. He has encouraged them with 4 things already. He says, remember the great cloud of witnesses, meaning the people that had run the race before them, the people who had lived life before them. And he's saying, remember them. They had difficult struggles, but they finished by faith in the Lord. They finished, and so can you. And so the second thing he told them is lay aside every weight. In other words, if you got, issues or things that are slowing you down from running this race, make sure you lay those things aside. The third thing was to run with endurance. Understand that this isn't going to be an easy race. Let's run with endurance. The fourth thing was run with endurance the race that is set before you. And we looked at a acrostic called SHAPE last week. All right, here we go. So now we get to verse 2. And this is like the grand finale, Martin, the grand finale of this passage. He says, all right, so he initially told us your motivation for finishing strong. The first thing he tells us is remember the great cloud of witnesses, the people who run the race before you, and the people who've had difficulty, but would not give up because by faith they finished strong. All right. Now he points us to, if that was good motivation, Martin, then what he points us to here is the best motivation. And a lot of times there could be a big gap between good and best, right?
Right.
He says, verse 2, looking unto Jesus. So think about it. Jesus has run the race as well. And he's saying, looking unto Jesus, the author and perfecter of our faith. All right? The founder and finisher of our faith. So he's basically saying, if you thought that, what I said earlier was motivating, please, if that didn't help you, let this help you. Looking unto Jesus, the author and finisher of our faith, the founder and perfecter of our faith. Now, here's what's so important and so powerful here. And I won't be able to go into details. We'll have to finish that next week. He says, check this out. We're talking about our Savior, who's created us. Jesus Christ, not another one. No, we're talking about that one. He says, the author and finisher. He says, who for the joy set before him, guys, endured the cross, despising its shame. Here's what I want, and I think the author wants us to understand. We will all have adversity in our life that is extremely difficult. Even the founder of our faith, even the creator of this world, part of the Godhead, the second person of the Godhead, even he on earth had something so difficult that, guess what? Listen to the word. He says, for the joy set before him, he endured the cross. Here's the key that I get from this, Martin. He doesn't say he enjoyed the cross. It didn't say enjoy. It didn't say enjoy. It doesn't say he embraced the cross. It says he endured the cross. Now, he may have done those other two. He may. But in this passage, we are told that he endured the cross, and it was for the joy that was set before him. So next week, what we'll look at a little bit of what he had to endure. He had to endure the pain of the cross and the shame of the cross. And really, the most powerful part of this message is what that joy was that was set before him, what caused him to endure it.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to say, man. That I'm looking forward to it. I'm not going to steal it, because if we can find that, if we can find that joy in our lives, then we can endure the challenges that we have to face the same way Christ used that joy, his joy, to endure his toughest battle as well. That's Scotty Hollins. Tell them real quick where they can find you.
Absolutely. You can go to www.blueprinttuscaloosa.com. You can leave me a message there. Come straight to my email.
All right. Thanks, Scotty. We'll catch up with you next week.
Thank you.
That's Scotty Hollins, Executive Director of Blueprint Ministry, presented by Johnson and Marshall Dentistry. He's going to be at Harvest Church this Saturday. If you have youth between the grades of 5 and 12, you're welcome to come as well. That's Harvest Church Stand Conference, inviting all the local churches, grades 5 through 12. Welcome to come. Registration starts at 12 o'clock, and we'd love to see you there. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me at martin@martinhouston.org. Thanks, Scotty. Thanks, callers. Thanks, listeners. Thanks, chatters. Thanks, Joe, for the Martin Houston Show. Remember this: trust in the Lord always, lean not your own understanding, always acknowledge him, and he will direct your paths. Roll Tide.
Thank you for listening to the Martin Houston Show on your home for
Have a great day.
You too. Thanks, man.
100.9 and streaming on the Tide 100.9.